This might be the mid-range champ we've been waiting for. This is the Huawei Nova 13, one of the mid-ranges from Huawei, and this is my review. What's up guys, my name is Alexis and welcome back to I'll Explain It, where we dive into all things tech, and today is no different. So I've been using this device over here, the Huawei Nova 13, for about 3 weeks now, and I've got some good feedback for you in this review. So let's dive into it. But before we do, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can stay updated with more tech content. Alright, so in the box you get a double port charging brick, a Type-C to C charging cable, a clear cover, and the Nova 13 itself. Getting both a phone cover and a charging brick in the same box, man, that's more than what we get these days, so kudos to Huawei for including the essentials. The Nova 13 in SA comes in black and loaded green, but I've seen that in other countries we also get it in white and purple. The one that I have is loaded green, and I genuinely think this is the best color thanks to the plaid design and the texture. The Huawei Nova 13 is going for about 10,999 Rand. In terms of design, it's lightweight, weighing 195 grams, 6.98 millimeters thick, and it has nothing on the left panel, one mic at the top. At the bottom, we have the SIM tray, another mic, and the charging port and speakers. And all the buttons are on the right side panel, with the volume buttons at the top and the lock/power button immediately below that with a red accent. It has a 6.7-inch flat edge OLED screen with 120Hz refresh rate, which makes scrolling feel like butter, and it has very good brightness level. It's still very visible outdoors. It has a punch hole cut out for the selfie camera, which adds to the almost seamless uninterrupted scrolling, and slim bezels all around it. It really takes advantage of all the screen's real estate. Even though it's a big phone, since it's 6.7 inches, it's not heavy at all. In fact, it feels so nice in the hand. It has a good grip, and in addition to that, the textured feel at the back with the plaid design makes it not prone to fingerprints. It just feels so nice. It uses the Kirin 8000 octa-core processor, which isn't the best, but it handles multitasking and casual gaming very well. It runs on EMUI 14 that offers a lot of personalization through themes and animations, which is a lot of fun. And my favorite is the Super Hub that supports drag and drop functionality across apps and devices, making multitasking seamless. It's still a Huawei, so it doesn't have Google Play Store. We're still using App Gallery, but they've really done a good job in making Google Apps accessible. It is like an additional step, so you will need about 30 extra seconds to get your Google Apps, but at least now you can. You can actually check out one of my videos in the card above on how you can go about downloading Google Apps on a Huawei device. This specific device has 256 gigs of storage, but it goes up to 512 gigs and has no expandable storage, which is a bit of a bummer because usually mid-ranges give us that one perk. It also has 12 gigs of RAM plus 3 gigs extended RAM. I haven't yet seen the need to extend the RAM in my 3 weeks of using it, but at the same time, with all the content that I have been taking, the storage is finishing quickly. It has a 5000 mAh battery, and as you'd expect, it lasts all day. On heavy use days, I enter the day with 95% battery, and as impressive as this sounds, the real MVP is the 100 watt supercharged turbo. Huawei claims that it can go from 0 to 50% in 10 minutes, and I tested it, and that's true. For the superfast turbo to work though, you need the official Huawei superfast turbo charger. It also has AI charging, temperature control that protects your battery and makes it last longer. Now let's go on to the main event, and that's the meat of this review, the camera. If you follow me on TikTok and on Instagram, you would have seen that I have done some sample camera tests using the Huawei Nova 13, but this is the official camera review of the Huawei Nova 13. And also, if you don't already follow me on Instagram and TikTok, then you can. I'll leave the links in the description below. So up front, we get a 60 megapixel ultra wide selfie camera, and at the back we have a 50 megapixel main camera coupled with an 8 megapixel ultra wide macro lens. I think I'll save the best for last with the front camera and start off with the back camera. The 50 megapixel lens takes good pictures, especially in good light, capturing important details. And when you turn on AI mode, it detects different settings like the sky or greenery to enhance those specific features. I found that the AI mode would oversaturate or over-sharpen the images, but it still did a good job for the most part. Then portrait mode was very realistic at blurring the background, so no complaints. But my favorite photo taking mode had to be aperture, where you can adjust the aperture to control the bokeh or the blur effect. 80% of the time it identified the correct main subject and adjusted accordingly. There were just 1 or 2 incidences where this wasn't so great. The 8 megapixel lens takes good super macro images, but I found that the aperture mode does a better job because the blur makes the subject stand out more. The wide angle lens was decent but not great. Videos on the back camera were also not so great. I found that they often looked dull, especially outdoors with natural lighting. But I did enjoy the slow-mo videos, even though it only takes like 10-second clips at a time. It takes good night mode pictures that aren't too grainy with very good detail. Okay, now for the 60 megapixel ultra wide selfie camera. For still selfies, AI is the star of the show, especially on portrait mode. The way it processes the images, they all come out looking almost perfect. You can select from 3 different portrait modes or customize it as you please. You can even see the picture getting cleaned up and processed in real time. The selfie camera is great for group selfies, and that's because of the ultra wide angle that is very wide for a front camera. And there's also this cool AI feature called Best Expression that allows you to pick your best face out of multiple burst shots. Technically, you can also use Best Expression for images taken using the back camera, but it works best for selfies. Again, the selfie video is not great, but this time in indoor lighting, it doesn't do so well as well. But then again, we're talking about a mid-range camera here. So if you compare it to other flagships, then your standards might be a little bit high, but the camera quality is decent for a phone that costs 10,999 Rand. Both the front and the back camera take videos of up to 40K 30 frames per second or 1080p 60 frames per second. Now, before we conclude, let's distill this review into some pros and cons. Looking at the pros, it has a stunning design, a great selfie camera thanks to AI. It has super fast charging. It also has 120 Hz refresh rate, and not to mention a very reasonable price. 10,999 Rand is really not bad for a mid-range device. There's mid-rangers that go for about 16K out there. And the cons is it doesn't have Google out of the box. I did say this isn't much of a deal breaker because you can still get Google apps. It's just a few additional steps and a few seconds more to get the required app. And also, I'm not very impressed with the video quality. Clearly, the pros outweigh the cons in this case. And so if I was to give it a rating, I'd give it a rating of 8 out of 10. Remember that it is a mid-ranger, so I am judging it by mid-range standards and not flagship. It could have been higher, maybe 9, 9.5 even, but I'm a bit disappointed in the camera quality, especially the video camera quality. So the Nova 13 is definitely value for money at this price range with very good features. In fact, I will even recommend it over many other devices in this price range because of its features. Anyway, that's it for my review of the Huawei Nova 13. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much for viewing, and make sure you leave a comment letting me know what you think about the Huawei Nova 13, and don't forget to like the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.